Hey guys, how's it going today? So, very exciting episode of Efficiency Bee. If you're listening, you should come over to the website at twocentsconsulting.com and check out our video. I have my business partner here today, and she listens to the podcast, but this is the first time we've had her on, and I'm really, really excited. So, I wanted to introduce you to Liann Delaney. She is the other half of Two Cents Consulting, which you've heard me babble about quite a bit. And we're really excited to do this fun little episode. We do an Ask Me Anything on our Facebook page, and we have some of our top questions that we thought we'd just come on and talk about live, tell you a little bit about us. Hopefully you'll get some tips and tricks for saving time and money along the way. So, hey, Liann.
Hi, Melissa. Good to see you.
So happy that you're
So,
doing this with me. It makes me so happy. All right, well, let's start with introductions. How about you tell us who you are, where you are, all the things?
Great. Okay. So currently I live in the Valley Isle, the beautiful island of Maui in Hawaii. Quite spoiled out here. I'm here with my husband, Robbie, and our almost 2-year-old daughter, McKenna. I was born and raised here. So we've been here back about a year and a half, and it was really a good opportunity to come spend some time with my family, get back to home, and we've enjoyed it ever since. So aside from being here, so I said I just came home. I have lived, born and raised on Maui. I moved to the Big Island for about 5 years, where I started with my previous employer, who luckily moved me all over the place. So after the Big Island, I moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, where I was able to meet two of the most important people in my life. One being you,
Oh, good. I'm
and
supposed to say that.
and two being my husband, Robbie. So
Oh, yeah, he
I
wins.
was yeah, I did mention you first. Hopefully, he
Okay,
doesn't
good,
listen
good, good.
or watch
That's
it.
all, Robbie.
Uh, so I was in Scottsdale, Arizona for 4 years, and then we were in Los Angeles for a year and a half, and then up into Seattle for almost 3 years, and now here on Maui. So traveled around quite a bit over the last 13 years, but so happy to be home now. My background and where I've gained my experience is I originally went to school for cultural anthropology. So that's what I have my bachelor's in, and a minor in history, whatever that means. I'm still trying to figure what that means out. And as I was working through my work experience, I decided to go back to school. So I did my master's in business administration online, and really gained a lot of insight on business and financials and analyzing and agility. And it was really a good time for me because I was also starting to enter the accounting and finance world. So a lot of really fun parallels. So where that brings into my work experience is up until about 8 years ago, I was always in front of house. And so I did a lot of food and beverage and hospitality, lots of restaurants, everything from sorting dishes and running out beverages to cocktailing, to restaurant general manager, which is why I moved to Arizona. From Arizona, I was sort of exploring different possibilities of what industry I sort of wanted to make my mastery. I know I didn't want to be in food and beverage forever. I didn't want to be a director of food and beverage, but really where I wanted to hone in on my skills. So that became accounting and finance. I loved the business side of it. I loved the strategy. I loved trying to make numbers better, understanding labor efficiencies. And so I was given an opportunity to join the accounting team under Melissa. And it was so different for me. I went from being on my feet till 3 o'clock in the morning to sitting in a chair for 8 to 10 hours. My back hurt for the first time. I was like, what is happening? I can't, my eyesight, was like getting crossed. But I loved it. I loved the puzzles. I loved the investigation. I loved the balancing. I loved the strategy. So that really took off my passion. And from there, I did everything from, accounting, staff accountant, assistant director of finance. And as I was transferring over to Seattle, Washington with my husband, he got this great promotion for our family. I was so fortunate to then again be pulled over by Melissa and join the corporate finance team. So there, it just opened my eyes to larger problems, global issues, larger standardizations, bigger efficiencies, bigger tools in communication, where it really just rounded off my experience from an operational finance perspective to more of a global finance perspective. So I did that for about 3 years. And then due to COVID, my position was eliminated. And with all of the emotions of that, once again, it ended up being a huge blessing because Melissa and I talked again. And here came Two Cents Consulting. And so for over the last year, we've been unraveling what we love to do, our passion, finding new clients, streamlining our goals, and really trying to push the business management that we do in development and getting into what we love.
So fun. I've had such a good, gosh, it's been over a year. That's crazy to me that it's been over a year. I remember so vividly telling you too, like, I'm not your boss anymore. We're partners.
Yes.
I had been your boss for, I mean, gosh, how long have we been working together? 10 years.
Yeah, at
But
least.
we've always been such good partners, and you've just always been like such a wonderful person to work with. So I'm so thrilled that we do this together, and we do it really well. I gotta say, like
We
I
do.
always tell people, you and I are cut from the same cloth, but we have different styles too, and those styles really mesh well together. So. Um, I love it. I'm so excited. I'm still so
Me too.
excited. I get all silly about it.
Me too. That's why I say the two most important people in my life. I can't let my children ever hear this, but yes, the two came from Arizona.
Well, I still want to say, haha, Robbie, I was.
You were.
Good. Well, I haven't shared a lot about my personal story on the podcast, so I'll give a quick introduction of myself as well. So I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona. Actually, Mesa is the official city that I live in. And I'm from Arizona, born and raised. I grew up in Tucson. I went to college in Northern Arizona University, which is in Flagstaff. I lived in Sedona for a while. I lived in Scottsdale for a bit. I lived in Florence, which, if you're familiar with Arizona, is the prison town, which is far south. Like, I've lived all over this state. So definitely an Arizona girl. However, I was at the same company that Liann was for a long time, and they moved me quite a bit also. So I lived in the Los Angeles area, lived in Hawaii for a bit, lived in Miami for a while, and then back to Arizona again. So had some really awesome opportunities to move and explore and grow my family at the same time. I am married to a man named Steve. We just celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary last week. He and I went to high school together, but we did not date in high school. He always was dating one of my friends. But again, haha, I win. Like,
That's the important part.
not that I'm competitive, but so Steve and I went to high school together. We now have three cool children. They're 6, 8, and 10. I'm certain that one of them will come barging through the door any minute. If I had to put money on it, I'd say it's my 6-year-old because he does that. I started my career in hotel restaurant management. That was what my bachelor's degree was in, and I did it like it was kind of on a whim. During 2001, actually during 9/11, I was working for TGI Fridays, and I loved it. They were giving these opportunities to people to travel to different locations and still keep your job with the organization. And I just thought that was such a cool concept. And I started asking more questions about food and beverage management and how things worked. And it made me decide I wanted to go to school to run a bar. Well, guys, it turns out I liked being in bars, not managing bars. Those are very different things. So I quickly learned that wasn't my jam, and ended up being recruited to join accounting. And I had spent my high school and college days as a bank teller, just again, kind of because it was available. And I loved that job, but it wasn't what I thought I wanted to do long term. So the financial controller saw me and said, "Hey, do you want to try accounting?" And I was like, "Not really." But I did, and I loved it. So just totally accidental, kind of like you. I loved the puzzles. I loved the spreadsheets. I loved getting involved in stuff, cleaning stuff up, investigating. And that all really stuck with me for a long time. So after I had done it for a number of years, I went back and got my master's, my MBA, and I've been doing it ever since. Everything from payroll to accounts payable, revenue recognition, income audit, out to a global outsource that Liann and I did together for our previous organization. We helped manage and run a global centralized accounting department, which was wild and bananas and so fun. I had never left the US until I got that job. And now I think I counted the other day, I think I've been to like 15 countries now, maybe more. And I had never been out of the US. So grateful for those opportunities and the things that are here to come. So that's me in a nutshell. Should we get into the questions? I pulled them off Facebook and I kind of went through the ones that are our most frequent. So the way this will work, I'll ask you a question and then I send you the list, you ask me one, and then we'll kind of just go from there. Does that work?
Perfect.
Liann, so question number one, what is 2 Cents Consulting and what services do you offer?
Good question. So I like to describe 2 Cents Consulting as a business development and bookkeeping company. So at the most basic level, we can do bookkeeping services. We specialize in other types of projects such as system cleanup. So if you need to file your taxes or you know that you just haven't been organizing your finances properly, we can go through, rehaul everything and clean. We're also really into doing sort of those projects where you're first starting out and you want to get your accounting software systems set up. You want to streamline sort of your bank automations. You need your chart of accounts to fit your organization or your business. So it really makes sense to strategize for your personalized business. And then where we really optimize and where we really shine is what we consider a fractional and virtual CFO. So CFO being a chief financial officer. You could also, call it a director of finance or a controller position, but it's really that fractional and virtual piece that we hone in on. So that can be misleading or misunderstood. And the best analogy that we like to use is an Uber analogy. So I love Uber, take Ubers all the time. And whenever I'm waiting for my Uber, I say, I'm waiting for my Uber. And in that moment, that driver is my Uber driver. But by no means am I paying that Uber driver the whole day or however long they want to be working. I am only paying for that Uber driver when I'm using their services. So similarly, right, that Uber driver is going to go pick up multiple different clients. So similarly, we're going to have different clients in different areas, and our clients only pay for our CFO services when they're using us. So it allows us to really look into what the client needs, how we can most optimize our time for them, how we can strategize together, and then they only pay that fraction of the time that we're using towards their development. So it's a really win-win. We get to help multiple businesses in an industry or in a service that we love. And these different clients get to have specialized skills specific to their business on their time.
Yep, that's it. It's so fun too. We have so many clients from so many different areas of the country and different businesses. People always ask us, right? Like, how come you don't pick a niche market? How come you're not just food and beverage controllers? And really, I mean, we grew up in hospitality, and a hotel is like a mini city. There's every department inside a hotel that you can imagine. I mean, maybe you don't even know, but there's engineering and security, and there's landscaping, and there's housekeeping and kitchens, and there's all these different retail environments that are there. So we've kind of been exposed to all of it. What else? IT, marketing, spas, HR, everything. And we've done the finances for all of that. So it's so fun for us to get to do a little bit of everything and help our clients all around the country. I'd say the only restriction that we have is that we only work with US-based companies at this time, really just because the different countries have different legislations on what's required for reporting. That doesn't mean we can't give advice. We just don't we don't typically take on clients that aren't in the US. Cool.
Okay, Melissa, you ready for question number 2?
I'm ready.
What is the best accounting software that you recommend?
Oh, QuickBooks Online. That's an easy one. People often think that we get paid, right? Or we get commissioned by QuickBooks Online. We do not. Liann and I don't take any money from QuickBooks at all. We just really, really like their software. We use it for our business. We recommend it to all of our clients. It really is the best thing on the market for most small businesses. It allows you to do accounts payable, you can do accounts receivable, payroll. The financial reports are intuitive and easy. It integrates with your bank. It integrates with project management software and most point of sale software. There's just so many ways that it can integrate. We do have a couple clients that use QuickBooks Desktop, and that is what some businesses use. If you only have one entity, though, we highly recommend QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Desktop is ideal if you have more than one entity, meaning you need to get into several sets of books. But by and large, QuickBooks Online is my go-to answer for that question 9 times out of 10.
Totally agree. And it's funny you say that we recommend that to all of our clients. We both have family and friends who also have their own businesses, and it is the first recommendation out of our mouth,
Yeah.
even though they're not clients of ours, right? It's going to be first and foremost. So not only that, but the app, the mobile app is amazing. You can do tracking of receipts and stay fully audit ready. We actually just created a free ebook on how to start using QuickBooks Online or really any accounting software. You can find it at our website, 2centsconsulting.com/accounting tips. We'll have the link in the show notes as well, so you can easily click on there.
Yeah, and that ebook is so good. It's so pretty.
Very pretty.
And I love it. Time and money, right? I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, Liann, so what are the most common mistakes you see small businesses make?
You know, the most common mistake we see businesses make is not fully understanding the foundation of their financial reports. And so when I say financial reports, I mean the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and the cash flow. So these reports are all very different, but they're all equally important. So having financial reports that are set up and reviewed monthly is really critical to any business, no matter at what point in development they are. So whether they're a brand new business or they've been in business several years. So from day one, having those monthly reviews to help you analyze your business and see the financial story behind your business will give you areas of improvement, opportunity to drill down, and find where you can strategize and save cost.
Definitely, definitely. You know, one of the common things I see is owners who don't know how to pay themselves or pay themselves correctly, right? They get confused between payroll and draws, and they don't really understand which to do when. Or they use their business account and their personal account commingled, which can be really dangerous on a number of different levels. I mean, if you're commingling your assets, meaning you're using your personal expenses and your business account, and your business gets sued, you could open up some trouble for yourself litigation wise if that comes forward. So our recommendation to all business owners is always separate them. Have a different bank account for your business and your personal accounts. And when you need to pay yourself, take it in lump sums. So you need to, put gas in your car, pay yourself $100 flat and put that into your personal checking account, rather than using your business debit card for the gasoline, if that makes sense. And it's really important from a bookkeeping perspective. It really can complicate things. And if and when you ever get audited, and I think the question really is when you get audited, not if, because a lot of businesses in their time of operating will be audited by the IRS. You really want to make sure you stay audit ready. And so that's one of our main focuses for our clients.
Yeah, definitely. So next question, how do you suggest we optimize credit card fees? Do you suggest Zelle, PayPal, Venmo?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, actually, and it seems to be becoming more and more topical. From my perspective, electronic payments is just part of doing business. And yeah, there's absolutely a cost to it. I mean, credit card companies get you coming and going, right? So they're going to charge you the interest, but they also charge vendors to take your money. So you go to the gas station and the gas station is paying 3 to 5% because you used your card, and then you're paying interest on that credit card. So the credit card companies are winning all day. But that is the world that we live in these days. My perspective is that it is going to save you an enormous amount of time and energy to just do it as simply and as automated as you can and build those costs into the price that you charge your clients. So for example, if you're in a restaurant and the cost of your burger costs $3, so you're going to charge your client $7. Add 3 to 5% to that so that you can recoup those credit card charges. As a consumer, I find it annoying to have somebody say to me, I'm going to charge you 3% to use your card. I just want to pay you and move on. I don't want to have to think about your invoices. Just bake it in is my preference. I do see a lot of people try to use Zelle and PayPal and Venmo. A lot of times they're using a personal PayPal or a personal Venmo and avoiding the fees. And it's just going to catch up with you. I mean, that stuff is all electronic. Everybody can trace it. The IRS can see it. PayPal can see it. Just do it right the first time. You're going to save yourself a ton of headache later on. And it makes everything faster and more automated from a reconciliation standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And as much as I love those electronic payments, especially for my personal stuff, from a business standpoint, it makes it a lot more difficult to track your money and the descriptions, right? When you have the things flow in from your bank and your credit cards, you get so much more detail of what you're spending on. And what this really allows you to do is to quicken the process of you actually categorizing and keeping records of your expenses and your transactions, right? So again, saving you time and money. So we've come across so many businesses that forget to charge a clients for expenses that they have. And once you start doing that and you're purchasing things for your clients and not billing them back, you really start to have more of a hobby than a business because you're not recouping that funds that you're spending.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, this one's a doozy. We get this one a lot too. What's the difference between a contractor and an employee, and which do you hire?
Yes, this is a good one. And it comes with lots of information and details, but they're really very different. So an employee will typically come in and sign some sort of employee agreement or contract. Sorry, I'm not going to say contract, employee agreement. So this employer, as the employer, you'll have things like workers' comp insurance, right? You'll pay unemployment taxes. And then also on behalf of the employee and the company, you'll have other types of deductions, state, federal, Social Security, Medicare taxes, and all that kind of stuff that you're paying on behalf. At the end of the year, those employees will also be issued a W-2. So as for a contractor, sort of the work that they may be doing could be similar, but typically they're doing it for multiple businesses, right? Not just for you, where you could have an agreement with that employee that they can only do that work for you. A good example would be someone like a yoga instructor who could be a yoga instructor at multiple studios. So then they would be receiving a 1099 at the end of the year from multiple studios because they're a contractor. Or if you had a yoga instructor as an employee, they would receive a W-2 at the end of the year and would likely only work for your studio. Right? So they're unable to work at different studios due to a conflict of interest. Mm-hmm. So a contractor's relationship is usually able to do things throughout the state by varying state.
Yeah. Every state has a little bit of different rules with it, right? Like California's laws are pretty strict, and they'll say you can't control this, and this if this person's a contractor, but if they're an employee, you can. And every state's a little bit different, so you definitely want to look into that. But in both cases, the person is going to behave as if they're going to represent your business. It's just a matter of how you pay them. Some people believe that it's more expensive to have an employee because you have to pay the taxes. And I would say that's not always true. If you're going to hire somebody as an employee and you're going to pay them $20 an hour, to hire them as a contractor, you're likely going to pay them $40 to $45 an hour. I mean, the rule of thumb when you become a contractor is charge more because you have to pay your own taxes, you have to pay your own insurance. So it's that same concept with credit card fees. You're putting it into the cost of doing business. Either way you look at it, it's just really a a responsibility and a control and a liability situation. So if you need more information on that, we have a blog about it that is really helpful to understand.
So, Melissa, how do you stay organized?
Oh, that's like my thing. It's efficiency bee, right? That's all I'm about. Well, you and I are both mothers and career women. And I want to point out that I didn't say we're working moms because that's weird to me. Working moms, like there's no working dads. Anyway, so we're both mothers. We're also both career professionals. And our husbands both work full time. Both of our husbands have big careers where we're busy families. And I have everything in my life in my calendar in my phone. So I have a planner, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I use my calendar inside my phone to coordinate my entire day top to bottom. And I have about 5 email addresses linked to my phone. So I have my personal one. I have a specific one for the family stuff. So like I coordinate kids' doctor's appointments and volleyball and softball and all the things that they do in that email address, because then my husband and I can both see that calendar. I have the podcast calendar. I have a work calendar, right? So there's all these different calendars that I keep, and I color code them inside. And if you have an Apple or an Android, it's baked into the system. It's right there ready for you. And it surprises me how many people don't know how to use that. So that's definitely like my favorite tip. And then I have a planner that I kind of made myself because I wanted specific things, but I don't use the calendar function. So like my planner doesn't say, here's my meeting at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. because it changes. That's what I use my phone for. But I use my written planner more for like my to-do lists, things that I don't want to forget, items like that are really important to me, or to write down. Like I have affirmations. I write down something every day about 2 Cents Consulting, that our next goal that we're going to hit. And I write the same things down like that over and over, just because I really believe that the words that you say to yourself are really important. What about you? How do you stay organized?
In a similar fashion, I have my calendar totally booked up, and I even block time for projects or separate things that I have to do just to make sure I have flag points, right? Sort of like you just want to get sort of milestones done, whether it's a work project or a personal project. I'm also big on lists. I don't so much go through the planners, but I have lists, and I keep all of my lists organized because I want to cross through them and get things checked off. Yeah, and I'm a big advocate for sending yourself emails if you need to, right? Don't fall on the fact that you're going to remember to do something. I just send myself a quick email, something in the subject line, and I don't have to worry about it. It really allows me to stay organized and engaged in what may be happening right now, knowing that I'm going to have that reminder in my inbox to look at after. Otherwise, I find that I may be thinking about or doing something differently when I really need to be engaged here, allowing me to pick up all of the information I need to absorb to then continue on whatever project I may be working on.
I didn't know you did that. And I do that too. I text myself or I email myself so that I don't forget things, because
totally,
that's how you stay on top of it, right? Because you spend so much time trying to remember what you forgot. It
drives me insane.
The first time. Yeah, that's funny. I had no idea you did that. Okay, so let's talk time-saving tips. What are some of your best tips there?
It's going to fall into sort of what I was somewhat describing. I'm big on list color coding and prioritizing. So I will have a list of all the things I need to get through on any given day, so I know how to prioritize my time, and I don't sit around being like, what should I work on next? It drives me insane when I think I have 4 things to do and I'm not sure where to prioritize on. So if I have my list, especially if I have it ready for the next day, as soon as I sit down, I know what to do. As soon as I have downtime or free time, whether it's 30 minutes or 15 minutes here or there, I know what I need to get it done personally or for the business. And similarly for the family, right? I know that on the weekends we have X, Y, and Z time together, and we like to make our plans for that. It allows to have not too much cross contamination as well of, mixing in work time with playtime, and it keeps my focus on what needs to happen. Now, obviously emergencies pop up, right? You'll get a phone call that something needs to be done now, but that also allows the list to still work really well for you. You may have to push your list down, but you still have this emergency that needs to have to happen. And so everything gets shifted a little, but you don't get lost in the mix of things, right? In the fluster of an emergency.
Yeah, I love that. And I think both of us do a really good job of the playtime too, right? Like, obviously, I'm jealous about your playtime is at the beach in Maui, but mine is in the mountains in Arizona. And so I think you and I both do a good job of having that family time or alone time, or however we want to slice it, while balancing a lot professionally. And we've thrived because of it. And I love sharing those types of things. My tip on saving time is outsource it. And it's become like the theme of my decade, really. But outsourcing it, meaning if you don't love it, leave it. It's like I have a housekeeper, right? Like it sounds a little indulgent to some people, but I work so that I don't have to do the things that I'm not good at or I don't enjoy. And then I can also have extra money from the end of it. And you can cut that into multiple different facets. So um, I could wash my own car, and it would take me an hour and a half to get all the stuff out, get the car out, wash it, put it away. I'd probably get sunburned in the process because it's like 120 degrees here. Or I could take it through the drive-through, car wash down the street, and it'll take 7 minutes, right? Like that's a form of outsourcing. And I say it in every area of my life. And it doesn't have to be housekeeping. If you like cleaning your home, by all means, I like cleaning closets. Like, no joke. I dig it. I like to get through, pull my stuff out and like organize it. But I have 3 kids and I don't have the time to scrub the floors or the toilets or the sinks for that matter. When you have little kids, you know what I'm talking about. All the time. So I work a little bit extra in the things that I do like and make the money and have that. I even did that before I owned my own business. I was into multi-level marketing, and I still highly recommend multi-level marketing to anybody who's trying to start something, because there's some good money to be made there, and you can do it in short little bursts. You don't have to invest a lot of money, and you can make some decent money in order to find more time in doing other things. So that's one of my favorite things. We are an outsourced provider of accounting, essentially. It's not how we market ourselves, but you don't like to do accounting, so we do it for you. Or we have outsourced our website design because we don't know how to do that. Or our social media, we have people that help us put graphics together, things like this, right? So just, I think, looking at your life and figuring out some of those areas, both personal and professional, that maybe you're not great at, or maybe you just don't have the time yet to be great at them, and have somebody help you. I also love my Roomba. I just needed to say that. It's a robot vacuum. I have 2 of them because 3 kids, but amazing. Like amazing.
Yeah. I agree. Love Roomba. And on the topic of outsourcing and all of the different lifestyle, time and money management, right? The different topics that we talked about, we also have several blogs on. So you're welcome to visit our website and go to our 2 cents, and you can see a lot more categories and information on the topics that we discussed today, and so much more. So lifestyle, time, and money.
Yay, awesome. This was super fun. We need to do this more often.
And I know, it was fun.
Yeah, we talk all the time, but not like with makeup on and on camera. So
yeah. Yes, I got ready for you today.
I appreciate it. I took a shower today too, which is not common.
Yeah. Not.
We're doing it.
Only could outsource that.
We're winning. But okay, so we are at www.twocentsconsulting.com, TWO, and it's sense, SENSE, like making sense. So twocentsconsulting.com. We'll put the website in the show notes. It's also in the main description of Efficiency Bee podcast. And thank you so much for listening and watching. And we'll see you again soon.